Hey, everybody, and welcome to We Watch TV. It is the podcast about the TV that we watch. I'm Daniel. She is Hope. This is episode 135. Starting off real quick here. Do I have a target on my back?
I thought you were going to not ignore the show notes and not do it. I think you might.
In this case, my leg.
Maybe it's just because you're, maybe it's just because you're tall. But
what does that have to do with anything?
I don't, like they see you as like a tall place to crap on. And by that we mean birds.
I got bird crapped on me. Again.
The day of this recording, he has been, you've had more flat
got
tires.
Me in the leg.
More flat tires than anyone I've ever met, and you've been pooped on by birds. They see you as like a kindred spirit.
I feel like you're a kindred spirit with me, and I don't have any desire to poop on you.
Oh, I thought you were saying that you felt like I deserved for birds to poop on me.
No, like you just, like, why would birds see me as a kindred spirit and therefore want to poop on me?
I've had a bird poop on me at least twice. And I feel like I don't really remember the first time. And it was like on my arm, and it was like horrifying. And then I remember in high school, I was running my least favorite race, the 3200. And like literally like during the race, it just like a bird like pooped on my arm, and I was like distraught about it. Like I ended up running like really, like I did a really good job and like ran one of my better times, and I was like super upset about that. But honestly, which is so crazy, I mean, obviously like bird poop is gross, but I remember one time being like really upset, and it wasn't about bird poop. It was because I was running with my hair in two little braids, and one of my braids fell out. And I ended up, I think that was like my second best time I ever ran. And it was also for the 3200, which I did not like.
But that doesn't have anything to do with bird poop.
I know, but I'm getting to the story. And so I finish, and I'm like crying. And Dad's like, you did it really good. And I was like, but did you see that I had my hair? I was like, half of it's out. And it wasn't like I could fiddle around and take the other braid out and put it in a ponytail. So I had to run with like one braid and like then half my hair down. So like my bangs and stuff are like, and my layers, because layers were very in back then, were like swooshing in my face. And my dad was like, I can't talk to you right now, because I was so upset about it. I was more upset about my braid coming out than the bird poop. The bird poop, I was like, oh, this is crappy. A bird pooped on me. But, like, I was devastated. So maybe that's why they know that I'm going to be more upset about, like, a hair malfunction. I don't know. Although I don't think anybody enjoys bird poop.
Way to just make it all about you. I'm the one that went through this trauma this morning.
You have it happened to you a lot.
I know.
I feel like, didn't one time, like, you were in, like, super nice, like, a suit? Like, really nice clothes?
No, I was a polo. It wasn't a suit or
Okay.
anything like that. No, well, actually, wait a second. No, you might be right, because it happened twice while I worked in that one spot where I had to walk between the two buildings a lot. So, and yeah, I think one of those was one of my nicer shirts. And
you wouldn't have been close enough to go home to change. Did you just sit there with bird poop on it?
I took the shirt off and just sat in my office in a t-shirt, in the under t-shirt. I don't know what I would have done if I wasn't wearing a shirt under my dress shirt.
This is just a crappy way to start the podcast.
Yeah.
No pun intended. It hasn't been too crappy though. Incident of today intended, and also my traumatic braid incident,
20 years ago that you're crying about.
Give or take. We had a pretty nice little week off. We went to shocker of shocker. Where'd we go?
The Orlando area.
I really like the Orlando area. It's like Epcot. It's like taking a trip around the world. Name that. If you can name that quote. Do you know who I'm talking about?
Stanley from The Office.
Stanley from The Office, obviously.
Who are you talking to?
I don't know.
Jeez.
I'm talking to a guy that gets birds.
You're talking to the
poop
co-host of the preeminent podcast about the TV that we watch.
Yes.
So I don't understand why you would think I wouldn't know the answer to that quote. Hey, speaking of which, if you're listening to this show and you're new, because we seem maybe to have some new people kicking around, or maybe they're old people that just come back. I don't know. Not old in the sense of they're old, but old in the sense of they listened once and now they're back.
We promise we talk about more than bird poop.
Whichever it may be the case, we have an Instagram account called We Watch TV Podcast, and we post silly pictures and updates on when we have episodes released and other fun stuff.
Sometimes we do polls.
And occasionally, very occasionally, Hope lets me post on there. And ultimately, if you're lucky enough to catch those for the 30 to 40 minutes that they're up before she realizes what I've done, you can see how badly I can screw up a Instagram post.
What was it? The Nobody Wants This show, which, by the way, I think season 3 is coming in August. That's the most infamous incident, right?
Yeah.
No, not that. That's probably the
No,
second
that
most.
isn't. That isn't.
Okay, that's the second most. So Daniel like chooses the photo of them, of Adam Brody and Kristen. Is it Kristen Bell?
Yeah.
Of their characters like shopping in like a porn shop. So there's like, you know, toys behind them, and I'm like, what? Of all the photos, why did you choose this?
I didn't pick it because of the background. I didn't realize what the background.
You weren't
was.
doing your due diligence. You weren't looking intently, and I'm just looking at it. I'm like, what? Why did he pick this scene? And then
It was a really good pick of those two standing together, looking at the camera
with a variety of toys behind them. The biggest mistake was when you try to do hashtags.
Yeah.
Instead of K-pop demon hunters, it was replace the D in demon with an S.
It was K-pop semen hunters.
Oh, I'm trying.
I said it before when I screwed it up.
Oh, wow.
I said it before. We're 8 minutes in. Anybody who's going to get offended has already got offended by 3 minutes of bird crap conversation.
In trauma.
Anyways, listen. If you haven't already and you have an Instagram account, go follow us. We're fun.
We're fun people. Sometimes we do polls. I think I said that, where we'll ask like random questions that sometimes have to do with the episode we're talking about, and then other times it might not have anything to do with it.
All right, what were we doing in Florida?
We were there for our vacation, which also coincided with my birthday. As an Aries, it's not just a day. You get like the week. And you know what? I like worked and went to school and had track meets on my birthday like all my life. It hasn't really been until like the past 2 years that I've like actually taken the day off of my birthday and gone somewhere and done something fun. And now I see the light now while you're so weird about your birthday. Like, because it is fun to do something the day of. I grew up and it was like, we're busy the day of my birthday, so we'll make you your favorite meal, but we're gonna punt that celebration to like the Saturday when it's more convenient for us.
See, I grew up with you either celebrated on the day
Or
or it didn't get celebrated. So it's a different mentality.
And now-
I probably would have enjoyed it if I got the whole week.
Well, now I'm healing
You try to
my
make it
inner
the whole
child,
month.
and I'm doing the whole week. Might as well. I think it's just like an Aries thing to do like the whole month. We have a very fiery personality.
I don't care about these astrological signals or signs that
You
you're
should.
talking about. I really don't.
You know, our server that we had at Three Bridges and I like connected over being a fellow Aries. Because she was like, oh, my birthday was April 4th. Hello, fellow Aries. And I'm like, hello. Because that's what we do.
Okay.
Okay, so it was really fun. I really think that April is like the sweet spot for like weather. And
The weather was great.
by the way, I'm going to just promote myself for a second. I also can book your Disney trip, your Universal trip, or your cruise for absolutely no extra cost to you because I am, an authorized planner that specializes in Disney destinations.
And she's very good.
So, yeah, hit me up. Hit me up, guys.
I think, what was the TikTok you sent me the other day? Wow, you might be a passenger princess.
In everyday life.
In everyday life. I am a Disney Parks princess in the sense that I just get to show up to the park and just trot around and do whatever it is you planned and not have a care in the world.
You don't do reservations. You don't do lightning lanes. You don't book the transportation, the Ubers, the flights, anything. You're like my travel princess, yes. Travel princess.
I'll be a princess, thank you.
You know what was really funny? How, like, even though I put it in my story, so somebody else was clearly at the hotel we were staying at, Grand Destino Tower, part of Coronado Springs. Other than their transportation, because the bus goes
There's nothing.
multiple stops.
I'm not going to rant about it
Yeah,
here.
there's
because
no
it was
consistency.
it was a great vacation, but the stop should be the same.
Yeah, they would sometimes we would be the first drop off, other times we wouldn't. But like that'd be like the only like ding that I would give the Grand Destino Tower at Coronado Springs. Other than that,
And I can't tell the difference between it and Riviera. But this
even
is
though
all,
they're completely
this is all
different
me.
hotels.
This is all me. This is all part of my
They're-
label blindness.
not even the same color scheme. But so the transportation, I'm going to take away the point. I'm going to give it like a 9 of 10. That hotel. What about you?
Yeah, it's very good.
It's very, very nice. But somebody else was there celebrating their birthday, another fellow Aries, and they had their door like all decorated. And Daniel's like, so we saw it when we went to dinner, and then like dinner, some drinks and stuff. And Daniel's like, hey, go stand by that door and let me get a picture, because it said like, I'm gonna pull up the photo now.
It was like happy birthday. It didn't have a date on it or anything. It was very nondescript, like happy birthday on the door. And I mean, I was just like, you know what? I didn't bother.
It said happiest birthday on earth. And it was like in that kind of Disney font with a lot of like different Mickey and Minnie themed snacks. And he's like, hey, go over here and stand by this. And I would just say, like, I didn't have any drinks at dinner, but you get goofy. And he was like, go, stand by this.
Yep.
And I'm like, I could hear people inside the room too. And I'm like, oh gosh. So I stood by it. We took a cute little picture, because I was joking about posing by it on the way to dinner. That's of all the stuff I say to you that you plunge out of your brain immediately. You did remember that, because he was like, don't you want to get your picture by this door? These random. So I even put on my Instagram like, hey, here's this picture of this door that Daniel did not decorate for me, but I hope this person's having a good birthday, but people don't read. And somebody was like, oh, Daniel brought stuff and decorated your door. No, he didn't.
Any of our if we tried to sell it that I did that for you, is there a single podcast listener out here that would actually believe that story?
My mom thinks you're a saint, so she might, but I don't think she listens to the pod. I don't think she knows what a podcast is.
No, I don't think
but
she
does. She might believe it. I mean,
she liked my joke.
What was your joke?
My fart joke.
Oh gosh, you don't have to tell. It's been we're not the We Talk About Crap podcast. But anyway,
I said it. People are going to want to know. But fine, whatever.
I'll get to that. So we arrived. We had an interesting little delay. We were almost delayed by like 3 hours, our flight getting out of Columbus and to Orlando. And what is up with you guys? Like, I thought it was very common that people like track their plane that they're going to be taking in their flight. Apparently people don't do that. I'm like calming down. Like next thing you know, I'm like the calmer of the angry people that had this flight delayed, to the fact that I'm like making friends.
I know this is going to blow your mind, but there are people in the world that do not go into a situation having schemed and thought about every single potential thing that could happen, and like,
my therapist says that it's my trauma response that does that.
Okay, but I'm just saying there's plenty of people who don't
make fun of my mental illness.
I'm not making fun of it. I'm just saying, there's other people out there that they don't know that you.
The fact that they didn't even know that you could do that, like, is the whole time I'm like, okay, we like pull into like the parking garage, and our flight's still like suddenly delayed, and I'm like, oh great.
You knew it was going to be delayed because you saw it got delayed by 1 minute,
and I was like, oh, something's going down. It was going to happen. And we didn't take the first flight out like normal. That's usually general rule of travel. If you want to avoid delays, take the first flight out. But like, we didn't want to wake up like insanely early because our airport's like 2 hours away. So I'm looking at him like, oh, this is going to be delayed. So I'm like, oh, I was like, this plane, and I would say it like before it would update on our passes. I'm like, yeah, we're not boarding at this time. Our flight, the plane is still in Orlando, and they haven't even boarded yet, because I was like keeping track of it. And then some woman like just has been overhearing me talk and this was when we weren't even at the gate. We were just like at like one of like the little, I guess, like the hallway of the airport. I don't know what you would call it. Because we had given up, and we were like, let's have Starbucks, let's have some breakfast. I'm like eating my egg bites and trying to drink my coffee. And she's like, so you think this flight's getting canceled, huh? I said, no. I was like, it looks like our plane, they're finally boarding. So we just have to make sure it takes off. Because at that point, Southwest had sent us $30 and like vouchers to use at the airport. And Daniel's like, what are we going to do with that? You better believe it. I went and used it. I like marched down to one of the little kiosks and got water and granola bar. I'm like, I'm going to spend, so we only have like 2 days to use it. Like, what else am I going to use this? I wouldn't have been able to use it for my flight back,
If our flight got canceled, we would go home, and then the next day we would come back and go to the Chili's.
They didn't send that because the flight was canceled. But she's like, do you think because they sent this? And I'm like, no. I'm like, our plane is still there. So then, like, I told her, I was like, they're finally taking off. I was like, it's probably going to update. And I'm like, that's about a 2-hour flight. So by the time they get off, I'm like telling her what time. Basically, I was exactly right. I'm like, I was like, before it's all said and done, I was like, it's going to be almost 3 hours. But yeah, you were like, with the whole voucher thing, you were like, why are you going to go spend this money? You're giving me this money. I'm going to go spend it. When else was I going to spend that money?
Never.
So I'm going to go buy an overpriced granola bar and water.
It's like it's a voucher that you have to use at the airport. You can't even use it on the airplane where they
Yeah.
offer you things to purchase.
Yeah.
Like, that's annoying because, like, what if they give you the voucher, but you get it like 15 minutes before your flight like takes off?
But that woman was panicked. So then, like, I told her, I was like, okay, well, now I was like, they're boarded. I'm like, I'm keeping track of the plane. She's like, how are you doing that? And I'm like, oh, like this. So then she sees me again later. And she's like, oh, did you see they switched our gate? And I was like, I did not see that yet. So I'm like making friends. People are like listening around me. I was like, well, now the plane, I was like, they should be landing soon. So it's like almost like was teaching like a class on like how to track your flight. Because I was irritated. But like as soon as I knew our plane was in the air, I was like, okay, now it's on its way. And I felt like, you know, I handled that well, all things considered. That woman was ticked. She was like, I already ate breakfast. What am I going to go spend my money on? I'm like, go buy random crap like I did. When you're third, I'm going to spend this money.
I'm gonna, you know, I was gonna spend that money too, actually, because I was looking high, up and down, left and right for a Sudoku book, and I couldn't find it at the little
like
shop.
That's the worst, most annoying game. Like, I don't think you could buy the book. It had to be food or drink.
Well, that's dumb.
I don't know.
Man, but all they had was crossword puzzles.
I love a good crossword puzzle. Those are fun.
Oh, those hurt my brain.
Those actually exercise your brain.
No.
Anyway, so flight drama aside, we arrived. Then I had to take care of business. We get to Disney Springs.
Oh.
And I had to purchase my time slot opened. Like, I was like, oh, this is going to ruin everything. What does Justin Timberlake say? This is going to ruin the tour. I'm like, this is going to ruin everything because now I'm going to be on an airplane when I'm supposed to be getting my Olympics tickets. And I already knew because I'd been having anxiety and panic all week because basically Drop One people got the leftovers of the LA area pre-sale. They didn't add anything. So I already knew I was going to already never financially recover from this. But I'm like, what if even those tickets sell out? Like, I have specific things I want to do. Like, I have stuff marked in my phone that I want to try to get. So the free Wi-Fi on the airplane didn't work at all to try to get these. I'm like, oh my gosh. So finally we get to Disney Springs, got my amazing Gideon's. I did have to get my coffee because we hadn't eaten, by the way, like in hours. I had those egg bites, at like 8 a.m.?
Yeah, something like that.
We didn't eat anything. I think you had some drinks on the plane,
yeah.
But like no food.
I spilled a beer on the plane.
Was that on the way down?
Yeah. I didn't get a beer on the way up.
But you didn't spill. Like, it was mostly empty.
It was just a little bit. It didn't even go off the tray table. I was able to catch it all, but I was that guy.
I think you annoyed that guy beside you.
Oh, I was annoying that guy. Yeah, for
you
sure.
were so fidgety. Oh my gosh. Anyway, we get there. We fuel up. Finally get a little, like, some, I got my coffee, got the fuel. We go to a great little quick service restaurant at Disney Springs, the Polite Pig. Now you can make your fart joke.
What? We went to the Polite Pig. It was delicious. It was excellent. You were able to sit there while we were waiting on our food and get our Olympics tickets. And then later when we left the restaurant, I, had some flatulence. And I said, well, just blame that on the rude hog.
The rude hog. I thought it was funny, but now I don't think anyone else. My mom thought it was funny. She's been telling that joke to everybody. She just thinks you're the funniest guy.
I feel like we should open a restaurant that's just like the Polite Pig with one change. One, it's called the Rude Hog,
or the Hostile Hog.
You came up with the alliteration later.
Yeah.
My mind is not able to. My mind is just not able to function at that
That's
level.
why you can't do crosswords.
Yeah. And the other change is it's like one of those restaurants where they're mean to you.
Like, what do you want?
Yeah.
Or they just do the Gen Z stare.
Yeah, that kind of stuff.
So we get some food in us, and I'm able to, I feel like we're just glazing this over, but like literally a lifelong dream of mine has been to attend the Olympics. And I said after Salt Lake, I'm like, the next time the Olympics are in the United States, I'm like, I'm going. I had no idea it would be this insanely expensive. But I was prepared when I started seeing, I have like panicked for like a full week, didn't I?
Yes.
About buying these. But we were able to secure one of the final sessions for track and field. We will be going to the LA Olympics. Thankfully, we have some time to get these costs paid off. We hope to see other events, but if you're coming to the LA Olympics, we'll see you there. It's gonna be great. I had to sit there and like do that. I had to like take care of business. Couldn't even enjoy like the beginning of my trip at first. And
maybe we'll record a whole episode from LA. to celebrate.
If this podcast is still, do you think we'll still be in existence 2 years from now? Well, maybe we'll bring it back if something happens.
Why wouldn't we be in existence?
I don't know. You never know. Maybe podcasts won't be a thing anymore. I don't know. I have no idea. Or all the shows will be dried up because that's what most people do is rewatch podcasts. That's all I listen to. There'll be no more shows to rewatch. So maybe people will be forced to listen to us.
So we're going to start listening to our own old episodes and then ranking.
A re-listen?
And then we're going to re-listen to the We Watch TV podcast. So next week we're going to talk about episode 1, the best thing going. And so on and so forth.
Let's not.
And then it's just this snake that keeps eating its tail. You never run out.
Anyway, so back to our trip. It was really nice. We went to, somehow after Disney Springs, we managed to go to Hollywood Studios, and we were there, like, pretty late. We're not usually in that park very late.
It was bizarre.
But, like, we did.
I'm usually happily tucked into my bed by
But you were in a good mood.
By 3 or 4 p.m. on a Disney trip.
I think even though the flight was delayed, the not super early flight, like, helped your personality.
I don't know what the difference is. I honestly don't.
Well-rested.
But there is such a huge difference between.
And you had a lot of food from
having
Flight
to
Pig.
get up at 1 a.m. to get ready and drive to the airport versus what
like
did we get up?
In.
Like 4?
4 something, yeah.
And that is a 3-hour difference, but it was a huge difference. And like not just the actual difference in time, but the anxiety difference, I think. There's just something, the closer you get to the normal time you're supposed to be awake, the less anxiety I have.
What did the Polite Pig, like, was like a Michelin, it's not a Michelin star restaurant, but it's on some, like, Michelin list, probably for, like, fast foodie type places.
It's very good.
It's not the Rude Hog. The
Rude Hog is what happens after you have the entire plate of baked beans.
Best mac and cheese I've had. But anyway, we had a lot of fun at studios. We hardly ever go to studios to start things off. I think I picked that just because
it's a hellscape.
Because I knew we'd be there later, so we did some lightning lanes, and I was like, we'll be able to do the Runaway Railway without much of a wait.
Didn't even go into Star Wars.
Are you going to
land.
sing the song? Nothing can stop us now. It's a banger. It's a banger. Yeah, so we get back, finally go to sleep after that, quite the travel day. And then we went to Magic Kingdom the next day, which was my birthday eve. Did some fun rides, had a nice time. Where did we eat at Magic Kingdom? I'm trying to remember. I had my cinnamon roll.
We didn't really eat anywhere. You had
I had my pepperoni spring rolls.
The spring rolls and stuff, and then we ate.
We snacked a lot.
The main meal that day was the Three Bridges place.
Oh yeah, we snacked a lot at Magic Kingdom.
With the dips.
Oh, we had the floats, the I Love You floats.
Yeah. And
then we went to Three Bridges, new restaurant at our hotel. If you are going to Disney anytime soon, I would like drive, like I would find a way to get over to Coronado.
You'd go over there just for the dips.
The trio, it was guac, queso, and then a corn dip, which we were like, this is weird. And the corn dip is like even vegan and uses vegan cheese. I've had vegan cheese and other stuff before. Horrible. When she told me that, my fellow Aries, our server, I was like, what? This is vegan cheese? That was my favorite dip of the 3 dips.
I think so too. The guac was good, but it wasn't limey and salty enough for me. But that's just my personal preference because when I make it, I just make it like a
the
rat
churros
person.
that she brought us.
Those were great.
Those were amazing. And then she brought me like a little extra thing because it was my birthday.
Honestly, if we go back, I would just get like the dips and maybe one other appetizer. And then the churros. And the sangria tower.
Although my child's quesadilla that I order was perfection.
Folks, you have to understand, she orders off the kids menu, and she can't just order off the kids menu. She also has to apologize to the server for like 5 minutes.
Okay, I didn't know. I've been doing this for years because of like portions, and it's like I just, I am a little bit more of a picky eater, and I didn't know that people did that just to save money. So I'm always like, I'm willing to pay the adult price. Just, this is what I want. This is the size, the portion that I want, the blandness.
What
I like
a crappy thing to do just to save $1.
But yeah, apparently, those people are ruining it for those of us that just like the quality food like shells and cheese, a plain chicken and cheese quesadilla. Thank you. You guys are ruining it. But yeah, I feel like I do give the apology speech. And she's like, yeah, it's really no big deal. And then my actual birthday, the day of my birth, April 14th, we went to breakfast at Topolino's with the characters. It was so much fun. Food there is always 10 of 10. I'm not really big and like a lot of like the Disney like buffet breakfast. This is one where you just order off. It's not even family style. You order what you want. What did you get, Daniel?
Steak and eggs.
As usual, he always gets steak. I got waffle with fruit, bacon. They brought me out these like special like little like, cookies. I couldn't really understand what the guy. I think they're Madeleines, right? Is that what he said?
I don't know what he said.
But they were like a
You got
vanilla.
the authentic experience because he had the accent of what's the Riviera again? Where's it supposed to be?
Is that like the French Riviera?
Okay, I don't know then. He had a European accent.
Yeah, he kept saying congratulations to me.
You made it.
You finally did it. World's best cup of coffee. But I think he said there was like vanilla syrup and like even like a
No, there was a
coconut
coconut
syrup.
syrup. It was
With
they were
like a vanilla
cookie.
base,
They were
yeah.
like a vanilla cookie with a coconut soaked in a coconut syrup.
Those might be like the best dessert I had, even out of the cake I had later that day. They were good. I'm like, why can't I buy this? And I was trying to ask him, like, can I buy this anywhere here? And he's like, no, I just brought those out to you because it's your birthday. Congratulations. I was like, okay. And then I rode the Skyliner twice on my birthday trip. I don't know. That your first time on the Skyliner. You've not ridden the Skyliner yet. What are your thoughts?
Yeah. I mean, it's fine. Obviously,
People like are obsessed with it.
Obviously, you wouldn't. It's just transportation, folks. You wouldn't want to get stuck on it because,
Yes,
like,
that's
even
my fear.
the one time, the 2 times we were on it, like,
It's
the
warm.
air wasn't flowing as much as I would prefer.
Yes.
I would have thought it would be coming through those vents a little bit better.
I told you this.
but it was not.
And if you get stuck there, I've been stuck on it for at least 5 to 10 minutes, and it felt like an eternity. But when it's moving, it is nice.
It's
it gets
fine,
you
and
quickly to Epcot.
It would have made no sense for us to not use it that day.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to go if I don't have a reason to use the Skyliner. I'm not going to go out of my way to use the Skyliner.
Some people do that because they just like to ride it.
Like, give me a break.
Like my parents will like go over there. I mean, they're like basically they're basically locals though, so that's like their ride. They'll go over there and just do it for fun.
That would be like doing something crazy, like staying at the Contemporary and taking the monorail to the Magic Kingdom.
People do that.
Give me a break.
Because
That's
people
stupid.
don't want to walk.
It's stupid. It's just a ride. It's just transportation.
What if you have like little kids that don't want to walk? A lot of people when I was little,
they need to learn to walk.
When I was little, the monorail, I would tell people that was my favorite ride. So, I can see maybe that's why some people really
Monorail
like
gets stuck too.
Yeah, it does. I've been stuck on the
Just
monorail
as much
before.
as
It's
the
not
Skyliner.
fun.
You got stuck on it one time with the door open.
I know. It like flew open. That was weird. Anyway, when it's moving, it's fun. And I had my little cinnamon cold brew from the little cafe. It was like this was like the trip of coffees, for better or worse. I think my stomach was like, girl, because I had coffee that morning at Riviera because I like their blend of regular coffee. I had that. Then I had more coffee later. And in my advancing age, my stomach's like, we can't do
Let's just
like
say,
5 coffees.
Let's just say the coffee helped contribute to the rude hall.
Oh my gosh, Daniel. No one's going to want to listen to us now. They're going to think we're gross people. But anyway.
I already got the podcast title taken care of. Don't worry about it.
We're not calling an episode where we recap my birthday trip, The Rude Hog. No, I forbid it.
Try and stop me.
I forbid it. We got to Epcot, and because the Skyliner does drop you off, like, right in, like, the World Showcase area, so we were able to walk onto Remy's, and we did not get stuck for once. That ride is fun when you don't get stuck on it. Do you not agree?
Yeah, I mean, it's fine.
You said, well, I am really tired of this podcast persona because
that ride is fine. It was fine with the 3D. I like it better without the 3D just because I don't have to have the stupid glasses on anymore.
Okay.
But it was never anything like groundbreaking to write home about.
And you must have forgotten that you had an old fashioned with your breakfast because when we were on the ride, you were like, now this is really fun when I'm not stuck on it. And you were very loud and vocal about
old
it.
fashioned Daniel is a different persona.
I guess so. I wish the listeners could you maybe like you want me to make you an old fashioned?
See, but that would be we're always, if we record in the morning, sure, it would be morning old fashioned is what does it. Afternoon old fashioned, I'm just going to go to sleep.
I was going to say that'd probably just put you to sleep.
Yeah.
Anyway, we had a nice little time in Epcot, looking at the topiaries for Flower and Garden. We did a lot of my favorite rides, Figment, Guardians.
Figment had like an actual
it did.
20-minute line.
It was weird.
Which was weird.
We still waited in it because we didn't really have any other plans. And then we finally went to the Cake Bake Shop. We were supposed to go to Cake Bake Shop last year when we were on vacation for my birthday, but unfortunately I had a migraine attack, which, you know, we were in the bougie room last year with a fireworks view, so that was fun. And you woke me up so I could watch the fireworks for my birthday. But I'm like, this is a long time coming. This is like a 2-year anticipation. And I felt like it lived up to the hype. For one, the bakery side, and I'm sure the restaurant side is too, it's very Bridgerton vibes. And now that you've seen Bridgerton, would you agree with that assessment?
I get it.
It's like pink, florals, everything is glittery, like edible glitter on everything, like a chocolate chip cookie, edible glitter on it. We got 2 pieces of cake, the red velvet cake, which is the best red velvet cake I've ever had in my entire life. And then we got the pixie fetty, like birthday cake, which is like their version of funfetti cake. And then we got 2 lattes. The raspberry rose latte, I don't normally like floral stuff, but it's just hit the number 2 spot in my Disney coffee rankings, right behind my Gideon's peanut butter nitro cold brew. Amazing. Now, the one that you tried that you decided not to finish, I didn't like that one either, the white chocolate pearl latte. It's the one that's like gone viral on TikTok. That was way too sweet.
Way too sweet.
But the cake, what did you think of the cake?
It was good cake.
And you're not even a big cake person.
It wasn't better than the slice of pizza from the pizza window that I got.
Oh my gosh. So we're like finishing, like we're splitting these 2 enormous pieces of cake. And Daniel's like, I think I need something salty. I'm going to go get a slice of peaches just to have a bite of it.
By the way,
he eats the entire thing.
We'd also probably about 45 minutes before this eaten barbecue at Regal Eagle.
Well, I had chicken tendies from the kids menu. But he's like, I'm going to go get a bite, like just to have something. And he's like, oh, well, look at that. I ate my whole piece of pizza. But the cake, y'all, the cake even had glitter in it. It was so sparkly pretty. The icing is like buttercream, but it's not the thick, grainy buttercream. It's like the light and fluffy. And I am a cake person. And when I tell you literally the red velvet, that is the best red velvet cake I've ever had. And then just in general, both pieces of cake were amazing. And this place, you're going to spend some money there. It's like $22 per slice of cake. So it is insane. But I think it's worth the splurge. Probably if we would go again, we would just get like 1 piece to share amongst us. I really want to try. They had a lot of other like bakery items. So I'm definitely going to go back to the cake bake. But you, again, I have to ask you, get your pizza brain out of it. You need to give, as somebody who's not big into sweets, tell them how good you thought the cake was.
Oh, it was the best cake I've ever eaten in my life.
Yeah. Like, it was that girl. So it was a really nice trip.
But it still falls second to a nice slice of pizza.
I guess so. But yeah, especially how you, again, I cannot stress this enough, folks. He's like, I'm going to go get, and these are like huge pieces. They like put them in I'll get to this in a minute. They put them in like a pizza box. And he's like, I'm just going to have a bite. And then eats the whole thing. But speaking of boxes of pizza, we're at the Grand Destino Tower, our hotel. It's pretty nice. It's like Spanish themed, and we're like seeing all these people.
So wait, but this is Three Bridges is here, okay? They've also got like a really nice Spanish, kind of
restaurant on top of the
tower. And then there's
another
Rick's
Mexican
Sports Bar that's really
yeah.
good food, and they got the quick service, which is it's fine.
Barcelona
Lounge, and all this stuff.
Cafe.
And heavily Spanish Mexican influenced food, and we keep seeing people walking around with these pizza boxes. And I'm like, where's they getting this pizza from?
Because we saw someone was with one in the elevator. So finally I asked, we were like at the gift shop I think we were buying waters or something. And I was like, I'm going to ask a question. I was like, we're seeing people with these pizza boxes. Because I was like, you know what? I could maybe use some pizza. Because this was before we had decided where we were going to go eat for the evening one night. And the guy's like, oh, those are like the craft mosaics. And they put them in the boxes. Like there was which I wanted to take that class, but apparently it books up because you can like make like a Mickey mosaic there. And they put them in boxes. So now I'm really glad that we didn't ask, the randos that we saw.
Like, hey, sir, where'd you get that pizza?
You love you some pizza.
I do.
I love pizza. See. And then we went to Animal Kingdom. We wrapped things up there. I don't know what the secret to Animal Kingdom is. Maybe it's somebody pouring their water on you, so I have to go back to the hotel and change and then come back. But no one is at Animal Kingdom in the afternoon. No one. We rode Expedition Everest, the roller coaster, 6 times in a row? Yeah. We technically did it 6 times because we rode it with our lightning lane. Then we went and had lunch, and then we literally went on it 5 times in a row. And we could have gone again and again and again. The safari wait was down to 5 minutes. Even the Flight of Passage, the Avatar ride that usually is like an hour wait on a good day. I looked at my app. It had gone down to like 20 minutes. So I don't know what was going on, but people need to put some respect on Animal Kingdom because it's like the best themed park. It's not my favorite park, but if I rank them, the theming at Animal Kingdom is top tier.
Yeah, I don't know. I like Animal Kingdom a lot. I don't know why people don't respect it more. And like, I know we had like a large portion of it is completely out of contact right now because not only are they working on the whole like what used to be Dino Island side, but Rafiki's Planet Watch you also can't get out to right now. So like, there's two pretty large sections of the park closed out,
and it does close earlier than regular
parks. It closes
parks.
at 6, which is whatever, but still like
it's got to be why everyone cleared out. But like it wasn't even close to 6 yet. Like this was like at like 12:30, like the middle of the day. Like everyone was already gone. That's what I found weird. Like I could see if we had been like 5 o'clock, but like we're hardly at any parks at 5 o'clock, and it was odd that there was nobody there.
And listen, I preface. Everest is one of your all-time favorite rides.
Yes.
Everest is my all-time favorite ride at the park. So obviously we have a little bit of a bias here. But I mean, there was a moment where we were like, should we go back over to Safari and do it one more again?
Yeah.
And the thing about Safari, and I guess, I don't know, Safari is going to be different every time you ride it.
Yeah.
And so you could ride it, you could get off Safari, get back on it, and see different animals. Because that's just the nature of how that ride works. Because those animals were constantly moving around.
I had a rhino come right up to me.
I've never felt personally like Animal Kingdom was a half-day park.
Neither.
We do all the parks like they're half-day parks these days. But I could go into Animal. If you said, "Hey, you got to spend all day in Animal Kingdom," I'll go in there and I will occupy myself all day.
That rhino on the safari that we did came right.
Yeah.
Like it was like I was on the end. Like I could have reached out and pet it, but. Yeah, it was a great trip. I really think April, like I said, is the sweet spot. Weather-wise, it was great. I'm not like saying it's always going to be great in April. Can't predict. Florida weather is very unpredictable. But it was really, really fun. Had a good time. Oh, I saw somebody that like follows me on Instagram, recognized me in the park and came to say hi. So if you ever see me or Daniel in the parks, don't be afraid to come say hi. That was really cool. So shout out to Steve if you're listening. It was really nice to meet you in person. Yeah. If you ever see us, say hi. You know that Daniel's gonna be wearing a WVU hat. And he has like 3 shirts that he rotates.
As your friend also pointed out, if we're in the Magic Kingdom, I'm going to be wearing my uniform.
Oh, yeah. You always usually wear your People Mover shirt.
So,
that's why I said you have like 3 shirts, it seems like.
If you would try to approach me and I just look at you weird, don't take it personally. I never expect to be spoken to.
Do you know one time, like some girl that we had, if you're listening, hello, some classes within college. Yeah. I'm like in the bathroom. And we're like, this was several Disney trips ago. I'm in the bathroom somewhere, and she just like walks over to Daniel and is like, "Hey, where's Hope?" And he's like, I don't even. And then like she had to like give her a dining reservation, so she didn't stick around. So I only got this like information secondhand. How did that interaction even go?
I never expect to be talked to in these places, and so like, and if it's somebody, and I did remember her eventually, but it was one of those times where it's like. How you're talking to this person, you're like, how in the world do you know my name? How do you know my wife's name? Why do I know you? Oh, and then it's like, oh, that's okay.
I randomly saw an ex-boyfriend at Disney once.
Was it random?
I don't know.
Was it random?
I don't know. I didn't do anything.
All right, everybody. Well, listen up. This is a podcast about the television that we watched. So we did watch some television.
Yes.
We've got several different shows. We got 3 different shows, actually, that have finale'd, so to speak. And so we'll go ahead and talk about the first one, the big one, the one. I say the one. It's one we're very excited about, but I don't want to discount Shrinking either. But
yes.
The Pitt season 2, it's done. It's over.
Yes, this isn't just an episode about the Rude Hog and the birthday fun. It is about finales and premieres, and like Daniel said, the big one. And what? What'd you say? And what?
You'll hear it when you listen back.
Jeez, a happy little surprise waits me then. The Pitt season 2, I think I am, now that the season has ended, I am in agreement at this time still. My opinion remains the same. It is the best thing going.
We'll do it officially.
That sounds like Face from Nick Jr.
We are both in agreement and are ready to officially declare The Pitt as the best thing going.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, now that's in it. You know that your it's that face here from Nick Jr.
Face here.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know what
Face.
you're talking about. Hannah used to watch it all the time. That weird. It was just a face that they had on the TV.
I watched it all the time too. It was just like it would introduce it like that and like Stickly from Nickelodeon. Anyway, see, you get me all thrown off with your weird sound effects. Explain to them real quick what the best thing going is for anyone new.
The best thing going. We literally started this podcast on the premise of it and then forgot about it and then came back to it a couple different times. We've been split since the last time we had this conversation. We were both split. The best thing going is what we consider
we've been leaning towards the Pitt, but now
the
it's
best TV show currently on air, with the understanding that it has to be a show that's got at least one season already out, and we know that it's got at least another season coming. So it's not a show that like is airing now, but we know it's over, like Hacks.
Yeah, so
isn't eligible.
For me, mine is because Hacks is been taken out of the running. This is the final season for Hacks. I had to pick something new. You know you're getting another season of Severance, and you are still, the Pitt is still taking that slot for you and
That's
upstaging
correct, yes.
Severance, which is huge because you really like Severance.
I do.
I think part of it is that when are we getting another season of Severance?
There's a part
Have
of
scripts
it.
been written?
There's part
Who
of
knows?
it, yeah. But the Pitt is just
that girl.
That girl, yeah.
It's so
very
good.
It's very good.
Okay, so I'll say what I thought of the finale first, and then we'll talk about the season as a whole, maybe. Yep. I thought the finale was great. Like it built tension, but in a different way than the season one. The season one, we had, the unfortunate, like the shooting incident at the Pitt Fest, and that like the last kind of few episodes of that were intense from that perspective. Their situation about like their computers being down, getting extra patients, some of that had kind of like alleviated in the past couple episodes, but the intensity here was more on, Dr. Robbie's, mental health just hanging on by a thread, the tension with him and Langdon. So the tension with him and Dr. Alashimi, we learned that she would like kind of space out randomly in episodes. Well, we found out in the episode before the finale that she has these seizures, which she's been cleared to drive. Like, I guess they hadn't popped up in a while, but apparently working one day in the Pit and with Dr. Robbie's mentally unwell rear end, she had like 3?
Yeah, she had 6 months without one, and then she just spends a day with him, and it's 2 in the same day.
So like the tension this time was more around just like their work environment, everything they've been through. Like obviously, we knew that Nurse Jesse, he's been gone for several episodes when he got taken by the ICE people by kind of like, he wasn't even taken, like he is a citizen. He was just taken because they like backtalked them or said like, what are you doing or something. So they like took him into custody. So like, but you're still seeing the fallout of people knowing like that their colleague has been missing. Mm-hmm. It is the 4th of July. Mel's deposition is over. So we have the, that Langdon performed a risky surgery in the episode before the finale, and he's kind of dealing with like, one false move, I could have, offed this patient, but it worked out. So that was more of the tension this time. And as somebody who really likes character driven stuff, I like that they did that. And of course, my night shift people, there comes Dr. Shin with the Dunkin' coffee as usual. Dr. Abbott is my man. It's my favorite character. And he was able to kind of have a little bit of not a tough love, because I don't think it was necessary he's mean, but he was able to kind of like talk some sense into Dr. Robbie a little bit. Because everybody knows, like Dr. Robbie, he was like, I don't even know if I want to be here. I'm not saying that he was contemplating, ending things for himself, but I think he was just in a very stressed out place, not sure what's going on. So it was nice to see Dr. Abbott talk to him, and I do think the words sunk in a little bit. You didn't get like Dr. Mohan. We know she's not coming back for season 3. Did she get any closure? No. Which makes me think that it's definitely things have happened after the season aired, which we won't get into the behind the scenes drama or anything like that. But
please no.
We did find out who took the badge, Whitaker's missing badge, and everyone, all these people, I think we talked about in our last podcast we did, how like social media has kind of made things crazy, like with Stranger Things, everyone had all these insane theories. Well, people have been doing that for the Pit. They're like, what if, Ogilvy took Whitaker's badge and is on the roof? What if, Langdon took it to go get drugs? It was Digby, the homeless man that had been in there. He left. Not only did he steal their mannequin, which is probably an expensive mannequin, by the way, because they do like practice and training on those. He took that and he took the badge, and he's like rattling stuff out. So, well, obviously you're sad because, Digby seemed like a nice man that clearly has some mental issues. It was funny in the sense of everyone thought this was going to be a giant plot point, and it was just nothing. I really, really liked the scene of the day shift people on the roof. It was most of the women watching the fireworks, because it was there was so much sadness to the air, but then also kind of a sense of calmness at the same time. You had like Perla crying, probably because of the whole, I think it was multiple reasons. Like one of the last things, Louis, their patient that they lost early in the season, which would have been early in the day for them, passed away. And he had said that he really wanted to see the fireworks. So I think it was a combo of that, of her colleague being taken. And it's just like, you go up there and like, what a day this has been. And just the shot of them all kind of just looking stressed out, haggard and tired, watching the fireworks. I don't know. Something did it to me in that scene.
That scene was incredibly powerful, and I think it made me feel something, because I can feel a very similar way watching certain events like that where take place these days in this
with
country,
everything going on.
We're supposed to feel. We all know from our childhood what we're supposed to feel when we're watching the fireworks. We're watching, we're supposed to feel this immense patriotism and all this other stuff coming up. But for me, a lot recently, I've been feeling other things, and I think that this really did a good job of kind of boiling down those feelings and showing them from the different perspectives of all the people.
And it was
that
also
went through
based
the day.
off the day they had.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like they also had a very
it was more,
stressed
It was
day.
more than that to me. It was commentary on more than just that day they'd had and the things that had happened. And I felt like it was a very poignant shot.
And I think you were able to resonate that each character was feeling something different in that moment. And then, of course, we've had the whole Baby Jane Doe, and Robbie had a beautiful, like, first of all, no one claimed it, so Nurse Dane is trying to be like, anybody want to, like, medically, I think there's
like something doctors can do
to take a baby home. So we have this beautiful moment with Dr. Robbie calming down the baby, and a lot of people are like, oh, is he going to take 3 months and not go on his motorcycle trip, and is he going to adopt this baby? As much as I would love that, I don't think that's happening.
Coin flip. I don't think it's going to happen.
I don't think it's happening. I don't think we're even going to know what happened to Baby Jane Doe in season 3. I think we're just going to be led to believe that somebody did eventually adopt it. As amazing as it would be for him, I think, because he made that comment about how he thought he'd be a dad with a house with kids, ice skating on a pond by now, blah, 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 blah.
Well, we don't even know he was serious. Because,
he was saying that to like Dr. Mohan or something, right?
Yeah.
Because they were talking about like the paths our lives take. So a lot of people are taking that comment as like, oh, now this is his chance to be a dad. I feel like that's the obvious thing, and I don't think they're going to go that direction, and I think people are going to be disappointed. But nevertheless, I think in that moment, him holding that baby, it made him realize, this is why I do what I do. Maybe I don't need to be married to this place, but this is kind of like what Dr. Abbott was saying, like life can be really crappy, but then there's beautiful moments like this. And I think that to me is how that scene read. So those were kind of like the main highlights from the finale for me. I know I've talked a lot, but I'm very passionate about the Pit. Just like Mel's sister is very passionate about the movie Elf.
Yes.
Oh, and one more thing.
Oh,
speaking of Mel, I've never rooted for divorce so much in my life than I am for Langdon and his wife. And I think that the man is already wearing his wedding ring in that relationship. I think it's been dead in the water for over a season. I don't look up and down at my friends like that. Like, yeah, I'm sure they're probably just going as a close kind of friendship, but the scenes about them both liking Renaissance fairs and like nerdy stuff. The little scene, they're outside having a conversation. He shows his shaky hand. It's giving Mr. Darcy. Thank you very much. And the way he like looked her up and I hope you don't look at your friends up and down like that, Daniel. I mean, you look at steak up and down like that. Maybe I look at my coffee up and down like that. I don't know. But yeah, I've never, and I'm going to say on the record, I've never rooted for divorce so hard to get my Mel and Langdon together. Okay, now you may proceed with your highlights from the finale. I'm sure we probably shared a lot of the same. So, but if anything different stuck out to you, or
no, I think I wouldn't be surprised with to go back onto like the interstate highway and get off the country roads that you've been on with these ships. I think that I wouldn't be surprised if Robbie like even does spend some time taking care of that baby until they're able to get like a permanent situation for it, and then maybe he spends some of his time off.
That'd be a good compromise.
Doing that, but I would be really surprised if he adopts Baby Jane Doe.
What are some other things that you liked about the finale?
I just liked it in general. I thought that it wrapped a lot of the storylines up really well. I have to admit that a lot of my enjoyment of the finale was watching all these crazy people on the internet's theories and mystery box ideas get smashed down because this is not that kind of show. And I get it. We have, over the last probably 10 years, kind of been subliminally trained to look for this kind of crap.
Shonda Rhimes traumatized a lot of people with Grey's Anatomy.
Grey's Anatomy does it. But Lost did it. Severance, one of my favorite shows, does it. All these shows now, they have to have this thing where it's like, oh, it's this puzzle to figure out. And that's not what this show is. And it never was that. And so watching all of these things, these dominoes fall, and the way that they did it really went well to me. And I'll be honest with you, the highlight for the episode for me was the Abbott-Robbie conversation.
Yeah,
because
was a good one.
Instead of this whole, oh, what's he going to do? What's going to happen? Is he going to leave and we're going to get on him? Abbott's just like, I'll just talk to him. And he just goes and he just tells him. And like you said, he wasn't mean about it, but he was upfront and he was direct about it, the way adults should communicate with each other.
Yes.
And Abbott has been where Robbie is, and he's moved through it. And he just told him straight up what you need to do.
He said, like, life can be beautiful, but it can also suck. But it's beautiful.
And I thought that was just like, I think it was a really important thing for Robbie to hear. I think it was a really important scene for anybody to hear, and not just the things if you're struggling, with depression and that kind of stuff like Robbie clearly is. It's also, I think, a really good example of how we as adults owe it to each other to communicate with each other more honestly than we do. Instead of like tiptoeing around people's feelings and trying to not want to, upset the apple cart or something. Every now and then, sometimes, if somebody needs to hear something, maybe you should just tell them.
What do you think about Langdon finally kind of laying it out with Robbie, being like, maybe you need help?
I thought that would be my second part right there, is Langdon, who is also on his own journy.
Hopefully to divorce him.
Is able to clock Robbie, and Robbie, I think, takes it and realizes he's got a point. And I honestly think those two men telling him that stuff is one of the main reasons why he was then able to walk into the baby's room, hold the baby, and have this moment of like, oh.
What about him and Dr. Al-Hashimi? Because she trusted him enough to tell him about.
That's
people thought she was going to drive off the roof.
I know. Again, it's that Grey's Anatomy mind
I
rot.
know.
That's one of those storylines that we aren't going to find out about until next season, because we don't know what her status is. We don't know. I would like to think that he was able to. Robbie put his neck way out for Langdon. You would think that he would be able to put much less neck out for her to be able to keep her around, especially if he's not going on his real 3-month sabbatical like he probably isn't. And to say, hey, we'll be around and we'll figure it out and we'll make it work.
I think the scene of her in the car where she did not drive off the roof, and just showed her started having that breakdown and crying that she knew he was right, that she shouldn't even be out in the vehicle and she needs help.
Yep.
And I personally hope that she does get to come back for season 3, because I would like to see. She's a character, when she started off, I could not stand her, and then I ended up really liking the character at the end. So before we get into season 3, we do have to mention we don't get a lot of life outside the hospital, but they did decide to give us a little sliver to an unlikely duo of Mel and Santos karaokeing to Alanis Morissette, and it was
very good,
amazing. Especially the fact that the actress who plays Santos is a good singer in real life, and she had to sing poorly. That was definitely directed at Garcia, right?
Oh, for sure.
I just think Santos is an example of the writing of the show. Again, she's one that a lot of people didn't like in season 1, and she has that tough exterior, but you realize that she's lonely. She wants the friends. She likes that Whitaker stays with her. She's the one that, it wasn't Mel she was like, hey, what are you doing tonight? Your sister's going to her boyfriend's to watch Elf, for the 50th time on the 4th of July. I'd probably rather watch Elf on the 4th of July than see fireworks, if I'm honest too. But Santos was like, yeah, you should come karaoke with me. And I really like that they gave us that scene. What was your take on would you like to see more clips outside of the hospital, or only in that way?
I think the way they've done it so far in the 2 seasons that we've had is the only way I want it. And if the seasons start veering into more out of ER stuff, that's not what I want.
You want to be in the pit.
I want to be in the pit.
All right.
That's what the show is, and that's what it should remain.
Well, let's get on to season 3. We already know that it's not going to have as big of a time jump as the first season. I think about 5-6 months. It's supposed to take place sometime after Halloween, so it won't.
But
A lot of
before
people.
it's the
Yeah.
what Noah Wiley said was it was after Halloween, but before Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So somewhere in that.
So
kinda,
no holiday
yeah.
this time, because they were on the 4th of July, which I thought some of the storylines I think people criticize them a little bit about, which like the deposition, like why would
Yeah.
anyone have a deposition on the 4th? And now they get themselves out of that bind. So we're not going to have as big of a time jump. You're going to be able to carry on certain storylines, and then the only other thing that we know for sure is that Dr. Mohan's not going to be there, and one of the night shift doctors, I forget her name, she has been promoted to a series regular, so she will be with the day shift crew. What are your thoughts for season 3? What do you think's going to happen? Any wish list of what you would like to happen? Shoot.
I mean, what I think's going to happen is we're going to watch 15 hours of the day
Of chaos.
of that day, starting at 7 a.m. or whatever time the shift starts, and whatever they choose to do, they do. Again,
What a beautiful prediction.
Because this is not a mystery box show.
Yeah.
Whatever the writers think is
They'll have an overarching
Yeah.
theme of the day,
whatever
though.
the
Something's
writers
going to happen.
think is going to happen, we'll get to see it happen. And I really appreciate the writing on this show, and I think they've done an excellent job. Again, we're not going to get too deep into the off of the camera screen stuff that's going on
I
with
hope that
actors
doesn't
and
ruin
stuff
it.
like that. Again, that's what I was going to say. I hope that doesn't ruin it.
I've seen it
as
do it
long
in
as
other
we are
shows.
able to keep this ship going, I
Yeah.
will be here to watch it because I think they're doing a fantastic job. And whatever they come up with, they come up with. Obviously, I think I think one thing that I would look forward to, because I think this is something that's easy for a lot of people to forget, is we will see Langdon more involved with everybody, because
Hopefully with no wedding ring on.
Because you've got to remember that his last he was not in the ER
Yeah.
between season 1 and season 2, and
Season
and,
2 was his first day back
and
after
Santos,
his incident. Yeah.
Mel, and Whitaker, and all those guys. That was the Pitt season 1 was their first day,
Yeah.
so they don't really know him,
No. That's
And so
why
that'll be a
his and
difference.
Mel's connection is so special, Daniel.
and that will be a difference in dynamics that we'll get to see in season 3, is how he has reintegrated back in with the group. Obviously, I'll be interested to see if Joy and what was the other guy, Ogilvy, and then the nurse lady, if they come back, and then we'll also have some, and there will be a crew of new people who that season 3 is their first day.
I'm thinking that Ogilvy and Joy, we're not seeing them again. If I had to predict, I do think we're going to see Dr. Al-Hashimi again. I know the actress said she would love to come back for season 2. She's not sure. She might already know. It's just not allowed to tell us in press interviews. A lot of people think Dr. Davati is going to be leaving because she made the comment about going into like medical psychology. But I think because the time jump is not as big, they can still keep her on another season. But this is the type of show where, casting, storyline issues like aside of that drama, but just in terms of like the actual plot of the show, where you probably will have to get used to a rotating cast at some point,
for sure, yeah.
because of the way it works. I'm for the Pittsburghness of it that we enjoy. We're going to be in football season, so
That's
we have
true.
some Steelers, baby.
That's true.
And
Deep football season.
too bad the backyard brawl is not happening this year, because we've had like one West Virginia reference. Someone who's like, we were camping and we're like West Virginia, yay! But yeah. So, do you have any? I guess we had some different chaotic storylines. Do you have any like storyline thing that you hope that they tackle?
I don't know. I mean, like
They've kind of done it all, but like I'm sure there's stuff they haven't.
yeah, they've done
that they're
it.
gonna surprise us
I
with.
honestly, like, I would like to see a season, and I know this is probably a really challenge. This is a challenging writing exercise. I would like to see the season without some sort of crazy disaster. I would like.
This season was still disaster light. Like, yeah, there was the water park slide broke, and that was
the system went down for.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That was the bigger challenge.
I would like to see a challenge without like all that stuff just works, and it's just the people coming into the ER. Well, you know what? Even better. Let's have a slow day.
I don't think they're gonna do that. Okay, do we hear about Baby Jane Doe at all?
No.
And if we do, it won't be. Maybe it'll be like. Maybe they'll wait till
It'll be
like the
in passing,
last
yeah.
episode, and then Robbie will be like, "Well, I've got to get home to my daughter."
I don't think they'll do that. I don't think we'll do that, but But no, I don't think. I think the people who think Robbie's like taking the baby, and I think the most we could see is him like taking care of the baby for a week or two while they try and find placement.
All right. Well, we also had Shrinking season 3 finale. And that is the show on Apple. Is it Apple TV Plus?
I don't know what they call it.
It is another Bill Lawrence show. He did Scrubs.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, here's what I'm going to say about that, because I know we've talked about the Pitt forever. That Shrinking finale, I could have if we weren't getting a season 4, I would be fine.
Mm-hmm.
That is one of the best. I don't know how many. I'm going to say hour. It was probably less than an hour, but just the best hour or time slot of television that I have seen in a very, very long time. It was so good. It made me. This is a show. It's very much again Ted Lasso, which I think again the same people work on it. That you feel happy, you laugh, you feel sad, you feel the array of emotions. We have seen the journey of Jimmy, Jason's character on this show, has just been like phenomenal to me, and the way they tied everything together with him and Harrison Ford's character at the end, that's really all I can say about it. Is it was one of the best time slots of television I have seen, one of the best finales that I've seen, season finale. I would be totally fine if they hadn't done, that had been the series finale.
Correct.
It's making me a little nervous for the upcoming season because
also correct.
I don't want to see I don't want to see characters backtrack
Regress,
that have had so that's pretty. If you want to tell them like kind of what was going on or what you thought of it,
I don't.
Go ahead. That's my. I was like, no notes really.
I constantly get the feeling that not a lot of people are watching Shrinking, and so
please watch it.
I want to just say right now, like the way that their original pitch was for 3 seasons.
Yeah.
And they instead of when they got a 4th season, instead of stretching everything out, they just said, "Oh, well, we'll just do our 3-season arc, and then we'll come up with something for season 4." So this was what you could essentially think of as a 3-season arc ending. If you're not watching Shrinking, I please take my recommendation that you should start the show. This was probably, again, if this was the series finale, it just charted in the top 5.
Yeah.
Of best. And by the way, this is the best acting Harrison Ford, yes, that Harrison Ford, has ever done in his career.
I'll give a hint. We finally got to hear him say "I love you."
Yeah,
not just "I know."
And the ending when he made the speech to Jimmy, and about you, what
42-year-old isn't covered in scars.
What 42-year-old isn't covered in scars? Scars from life.
Yeah.
What a life would that be?
Yeah. Oh.
It was. You could just tell it was just this. That they had been building to it. It was what Jimmy needed. Nothing that we said we thought was going to happen in the finale worked out the way it did, for the better, and it was a perfect episode of television.
It was one of those episodes that we finished and we both sat in silence and looked at each other.
Like we didn't watch anything else afterwards.
Like that was incredible. So especially if you're somebody who likes, like we talk a lot about the Pitt and their characters. If you like characters and you want to see a payoff, you're not going to be disappointed watching Shrinking. So start it. It's there. It's waiting for you. We had another finale that we weren't sure. We were like, this feels like a finale. Apparently it was. The Scrubs reboot only gave us 9 episodes. They are getting to season 2.
Odd number like that just really.
They do that all the time.
I don't like it. I don't like it.
Me either. I would rather had 8 or 10, but like it was one of those things where we're watching it and we're like, this feels like this could be the end. We know we're getting more, and I think part of the reason we're so used to the first seasons of Scrubs where we had several episodes.
Yeah.
We figured we wouldn't have as many, but maybe it's because we watch it after it's aired on Hulu, so like we went into this not knowing it was going to be the finale. So we like weren't exactly prepared for it. We finally got to see the janitor. That was spoiled for me, thanks TikTok. So I knew that Neil Flynn was, but I mean, come on. We always knew that Neil Flynn was going to show up. Krista, that's the actress' name in real life. She's on Shrinking. Yep. She plays Liz. She plays Dr. Cox's wife, Jordan, on Scrubs, showed up. So it was not only were those 2 characters coming back, but then they kind of were like wrapping up some arcs. We ended up being correct with the shipping of the interns, defining who was going to be with who. I don't know. It was my kind of opinion is sort of the same as it's been since the reboot started. it feels exactly the same, except for characters are a little older and in different phases of life, and the tone is correct. They did a good job not forcing the new interns on us, integrating them into the fact that I like all the new cast, and I'm ready to see what they do for another season.
And I think it's important to note, because I've seen some people out there negative on the show because it doesn't seem like exactly like what they remembered.
But it is the same.
The tone of the show is what I remember from Scrubs.
Yeah, exactly.
But again, they haven't done it so far, and I hope if we get more that they don't go this way, but they're not digging back up, Elliot and JD's relationship.
And I hope they don't. We've seen it.
They're not doing all XYZ. JD is actually forming a real relationship with Dr. Cox because of the things that he's going through. People are moving on in life because that's what happens.
Ooh, Rachel Bilson, do we think we see her again?
Yeah, well, absolutely. They don't bring her in at the end here just to not have her around. So I think that's what these reboots, the reboots that have gone well, in my opinion, I don't want to see the same exact thing I saw 20 years ago. I want to see where those characters that I loved 20 years ago are at now.
Yeah.
And that does and I expect there to be growth. I think, like, I'll go to Frasier. We were fine by the end of the Frasier reboot, but the fact is, a lot of it sometimes felt like a regression back on occasion, and it didn't feel like growth necessarily.
And it was annoying because it felt like he and Niles had formed and they would just take kind of shots at him and Niles, where we knew that's not how their relationship was, and it was just. So,
this really felt to me like the soul of Scrubs was there, the tone of the writing was there, but it was characters who were 20 years on from where they were. And that's what I wanted. And if they give me another 9-episode season, I will sit happily and watch it. And I will continue to watch it until the end of time.
Yeah, and it's just, like you said, it's, to me, the people that say they want it exactly the same, like, just go watch the old episodes then.
Yeah, exactly. That's why they're all there. Watch that.
The tone is the same. They capture the tone. These are just people that are so moved on in their lives, and I agree with you. And I'm somebody, I shipped JD and Elliot to begin with. As soon as I found out they weren't together anymore, I'm like, the first thing I said in that first episode was like, I can't do this again with these two, watching this on and off thing. Like, I either want them to stay apart or not, like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to watch it again. And I felt like in the scene where he told her, like, good job, like, with this patient, like, that there is definitely that respect there as friends, as doctors, as colleagues, as co-parents. And there's a lot of people that are like, oh, we want to see their kids. And I'm like, I hope, why? Like, it's kind of like, it's not the same as the Pitt, because it's not every day's a shift, but it's like, we know they have a child. At least he said kids. We know he had a kid with another woman, Elizabeth Banks' character.
Right.
That kid would be like in his 20s at this point,
canonically. If there's a reason to have them show up, whatever.
Yeah.
But like, it's not like I don't need to see this. I just want to see, like you said, for the new people that they brought on, we were skeptical at first, but by the end, like, those are characters now I want to know.
Yeah. They did a really good job with the new people of threading them in to get people, in my opinion, to like them. There's always going to be people that complain because the show's not exactly like the show they loved. Which, again, like I said, go watch the old series then. So that about does it for the finales. This has also been the week of premieres, pretty much since we right before we left, since we got back, including 2 premieres for 2 shows that once held the Best Thing Going title, and both are wrapping up. We have seen the first 2 episodes of The Boys.
I think we've seen the first 3 episodes now.
That we have?
Yeah.
Oh, we have seen the first 3 episodes.
We watched 2 before we went on vacation.
Yeah, because they dropped 2.
Yeah.
They dropped 2, and then they did 1. I don't know how they're going to end that. I'm gonna let you dive into this one. Homelander's just as crazy and weird. It feels a little too meta for my liking sometimes, but I don't know how we're gonna wrap this up with the good guys winning. Let's just put it that way.
Okay, so 1.
Who is the good guy?
Who are the good guys at the end of the day? I think you could say Huey.
I think so.
Honestly, I think that
I think Starlight still, Annie deep down.
I honestly think that if I had to guess, I would say the arc of this season is going to be Huey bringing Annie back from the brink that she's been on.
Yeah.
Hopefully they're the ones that are able to come out of this and go forward. But I'm not entirely sure anybody else gets a happy ending.
Annie feels very because the whole Starlight movement, she feels responsible for a lot of people's deaths. And that's really played a toll on her.
Okay. Well, first of all, Butcher
he's already kind of like
he's already submitted himself
Yeah.
for death.
and with him setting up Ryan to basically possibly get killed, which Ryan, who did not die, they showed him breathing at the end, but everybody,
I thought I thought they were going to do it right there.
so many people are trying to humanize Homelander. He's a sociopath. He's incapable of love. They're like, well, he has an idea what love should be, the way he treats Soldier Boy and wants him to be like his dad, the way he thinks Ryan should look up, the way he thinks that people with the friendships that he has this idea what it should be, but he doesn't know what love is. And there were so many people that thought that Ryan could never be harmed because that Homelander somehow loved him. And the whole time I've been like, I don't think so. And I mean, it was really hard to watch him almost kill his son by punching him repeatedly. But at the same time, I was like, I told you guys. Like, 'cause there's such a debate online about that Ryan is like, consequence free. That's why when Butcher was sending in Ryan to go have that confrontation, I was like, what is he doing? I was like, Homelander, and then Homelander will be like, I loved you. How could you make me do this to you? Because he already said that, like, 'cause he killed, finally, A-Train.
Yep.
Spoiler alert. We are a spoiler podcast. Just, in case you haven't figured that out. But we spent the whole previous season being like, oh, A-Train's cooked. Instead, they just made us wait even longer for it to happen. But when Homelander is talking to him, like to his, corpse, he's like, you and I were so close. How could you make me do this to you? That's how this crazy man sees love. And people are on his side politically, everything. It's not enough because he wants people to really love him and not fear him. I think that, and now we've got Soldier Boy out there. We figured out that he can't be killed by the virus. That's been their whole arc. I don't know. I think Butcher's going to make some big, huge sacrifice at the end. He's got to, and maybe that'll be, Ryan is, like you said, he was breathing. I just don't know how people are going to, make it out of this. I don't know how they're going to wrap it up.
I don't think most of the boys, and I don't think most of the soups make it out of this.
You think Annie is your only bet for the soups?
I would I'm hoping that the story arc is that Huey is able to pull her back and they're able to get away and have some semblance of
I would like Ryan
something.
to live.
I would like Ryan to live, but I can't guarantee that's going to happen because also, you're always bringing... Then you're just that's another. Okay, I'm not saying Ryan is a Homelander in the sense of how bad Homelander is, but that is another Homelander just buzzing about. So I don't know. I honestly don't know where they're going to go. But show's been great. I think it's been really good. The only thing I'll say, and I don't think this is the show's fault. I don't if our streaming or something, but the sound has been really odd and off this season, and I think Amazon is just bad.
Yeah, it's because we're it seems like everybody's dubbed. It's just been weird. All right, so we did get the first 2 episodes of Hacks, not 3. The first 2 episodes of Hacks. Also, my former best thing going, but it's in its final season. It picked right up, no time jump at all from the finale of the previous season where they were in what country were they in? I don't remember.
Singapore, I think.
Singapore, yeah. And the people thought that Deborah was dead, but she wasn't. They fly home. She's trying to figure out, her next phase of life because now she has a clause that she can't perform any comedy. For a year?
Just 18 months, yeah.
So she pulled a Dolly Parton and manifested and said, well, you know what? I'm going to see you guys at Madison Square Garden. And I'll be laying it all out there for my next show. And they basically made it happen. Another premiere that I'm going to talk about in a minute. Cassie's mom from Euphoria. She's been in a million things. Legally Blonde. I think she's the mom on the show Ted. She showed up and was one of the ladies that was working for, I think, the main booking person at Madison Square Garden. Hilarious in the few lines she had. And at first was no, you can't. Why'd you do that? But Deborah, of course, rallied up her fans. I think they called them the Little Debbies. And that's kind of the arc of the season. And what I personally think is going to happen, I think they've recognized that Deborah and Ava, that is the core of the show. That's their relationship. They've now recognized that they are each other's best friend and really only friend. And I think the only way that you end this show is I think that we don't need another. I'm sure they're going to fight again. I don't need another big blow up. But at some point, Ava's going to have to go out on her own. And I think she did write that that show or script or something while she was in Singapore, I think that that show is going to get produced and made. Maybe even Deborah will help fund it. And I think that Ava's going to have to go out and do her own thing eventually. Yeah. And I think that's going to be kind of like your arc besides Deborah's, like, little comeback journey. What are your thoughts on Hacks? How it started, where it's going?
Hacks is great. I'll say the same things about Hacks that I will about Shrinking. If you've got HBO Max Plus, whatever they call it these days.
HBO Max now, I think.
Hacks is great. You should watch Hacks. It's funny. It's not the same thing as Shrinking. But it is a great show. It's really funny. It is very entertaining. You will have a nice laugh as you watch it. I don't really know what else to say other than I'm just looking forward to the rest of the season. And I agree with you. The main story arc is, obviously Deborah fighting back against the corporate machine, but then also the personal relationship her and Ava is going to have to come to a resolution. Again, they need the problem is
they're a little codependent.
Through the seasons, they've had times where they've not been together, but it's not been because but they can still hang out and be friends. Yeah. But also not work together. And I think that for Deborah, that's a really hard thing because she's never had anybody in her life that wasn't just an employee or somebody she worked with as a friend.
And I think Ava's never really had a true friend.
Yeah, or a mentor or anything like that. So I think that resolution that will come from there is that they can still be friends but not colleagues.
Because I think Ava turned 30 in the latest episode, and I think that she does have the talent to strike out on her own and do something, and I think ultimately we really need to see that. But yeah, I agree with you. Please go watch Hacks. It's deserving of every award that it gets. And then speaking of shows that is also in its final season and probably shouldn't have had another season, that would be Euphoria. Daniel did not go in and watch blind. He will be watching some, but I had to watch the first episode without him when literally the day we got home. As soon as I showered off the airplane filth, I was sat on the couch. That's what I was watching. And then I think you came in for like one scene of it and you were like, "What's going on?" And I'm like, "I don't know." I don't know. I have watched the first 2 episodes. This season never needed to happen. I still don't really understand what's going on, but I am going to be sad and continued. A lot of people are upset that they did the time jump, but you can't. There's so many seasons in between shows. You're not going to convince me that Zendaya and Sydney Sweeney and Jacob Elordi are high school students. We had to do the time jump. Where do I think they're going with this? Again, I don't know. This is another situation of I don't think anybody is getting out of the season with a happy ending. Honestly, this is a show where the lore surrounding the cast has kind of outshined the actual plot of the show, and I'm really going to be sad for one day when we get the behind the scenes of Euphoria, when I get that in 15 years later of all the cast drama, all the secrets. I will say it is Eric Dane showed up in the recent episode, who rest in peace, and I believe Euphoria is the last project that he worked on. And even though his character is, awful on the show, it did I kind of had to pause it. It kind of made me sad seeing his character on there, because you could already tell some of his voice inflection that he was sicker, but knowing that was his last role. So that upset me somewhat. But where do I think the show's going? I don't know. There was a pig that the rude hog, you could say, suddenly I'm watching Euphoria and there's a pig taking a crap in someone's living room. I'm like, what is going on?
I walk in and there's a dude in his underwear trying to shoot an apple off somebody's head.
Off Zendaya's head, yeah.
Okay.
What is Euphoria? Nobody knows. It's provocative. But I really think episode 3, it airs on Sundays. I just need you to go in blind, and you need to take notes and then read off your notes to the listeners. The Malcolm reboot also dropped this week, but we are still in our OG show. We started season 6. There are 7 seasons, so we're getting closer. What are your thoughts on Malcolm so far?
Malcolm in the Middle was a great show. It slept on. I cannot believe some of the things they got away with.
Like the Pearl Harbor thing that we just watched? What was that?
What's the brother older than Malcolm's name?
Francis.
Not Francis.
Reese.
Reese went to Afghanistan and got married.
To a man.
Hope. In whatever year, 2002 or 2003?
This was that we were already in 2005 at this point.
Okay. I'm just saying, in the heat of of everything that was going on in this country and around the world at that time, and they did that, and they got away with that. Every time I turn around this show, somebody's got a line or somebody has said something that is just so hilarious, and this is quickly jumping
Your sitcom
up
ranks.
into my sitcom rankings that I don't have. By the way, I don't like rankings. I
If
hate
you
them.
did, though, your hypothetical rankings.
If I had to do a hypothetical, though, I'm going to say that Malcolm in the Middle, not having seen most of season 6 or 7, is up there. It's climbing the ladder.
It's like one of those things that sometimes we'll have to pause because we're laughing so hard, or we're like, did they just say that? And I have kind of read some early reviews. There's only, I think, 4 episodes of the Malcolm reboot. They said, I don't know if there's plans to do more or what, but everyone's like, oh, it's so woke. It's so like kind of crazy. I'm like, did you guys not, like, we are watching the original series right now, and every time I'm like, I can't believe, I think it just flew under the radar that they were like, oh, let's renew this family sitcom another year, because like not only for like the time period that they were doing some of this, I'm like shocked at some of the comedy and some of the stuff they've gotten by with that aired even back then. I'm like, what is going on? So I think you guys need to go back and rewatch the original show. I'll say this, I'm missing the Francis arc is different. We're so used to having Francis's little, basically it was almost like I was watching 2 shows, because now he's not in as many episodes in season 6, and I think it continues, and I'm like, are the episodes getting longer? Then I'm like, no, I'm just not having Francis's half episode side plot. Anything else you want to say about Malcolm?
No, I'm looking forward to finishing it, and I'm looking forward to the reunion show. I've heard nothing but praise for it, outside of the people saying, complaining about wokeness, and it's like, stop. You don't even know what the word means. They don't even know what it means. They just, anything they don't like, oh, it's woke.
Anytime you do a reboot too, you're always gonna have people that are like, well, this isn't the same. Well, that's because the actors are like, Frankie Muniz is like our age. Like, he's old. Like, it's never going to be the exact same. I did start a show that was recommended by a listener. It's Dan Levy's show of Schitt's Creek fame on Netflix called Big Mistakes. I really think Daniel would like that show. I almost want to rewatch it from the very beginning so you can see it. You popped in for a little bit of it.
Yeah, I didn't know what was going on.
I feel like it's in our wheelhouse of humor, but whenever I finish that, we will be talking about it in an upcoming episode. I am getting caught up with Abbott. We've got questions about Ghost. We have not seen any episode of Ghost since the Christmas episode aired, but once we get through our TV, we intend to go watch all the episodes.
We record Ghosts, which means we have to fast forward through the commercials, so it's like, ugh.
Gosh, man, having to use a button for technology. Well, I feel like I've yammered a lot more than you, as usual, except for all the talk about bird poop. Do you have anything else you want to say about our weeks of finales and premieres?
They announced that they're going to make another Star Trek movie.
Couldn't let us finish an episode without talking about Star Trek.
It's not gonna be in the Prime universe.
What's the Prime universe?
The normal one. Picard.
What were we watching, by the way, where somebody said something and they're like, okay, Mr. Spock. I'm like, that's not how Spock acts. We were watching some show and I was like insulted, and then I was so mad at myself that I got upset about Star Trek.
I think it was it The Boys?
I don't know what we were watching, but it was like, I thought it was Scrubs.
Maybe it was Scrubs.
And I'm like, that's not a Spock.
You got really animated. Like, really animated. You were like, he's not acting like Spock.
What have you done to me?
You made me pause it, and you like ranted about it. Anyways, they're not making the Star Trek movie in the Prime universe, which is like the original series, the movies, the Star Trek Next Generation. And they're not making it, apparently, in the Kelvin universe either. So we're getting another Star Trek universe.
Is it going to be a new, like, reboot? Like,
we don't know. No, they said new characters.
So it's not going to be like another timeline of people?
I guess not.
Is it going to be like the Star Trek 90210?
It's a movie.
A movie.
So
do we know who's directing it?
No. We'll see if it ever actually sees the light of day.
I would rather them take that money they were going to do to that and give us the teased kind of next generation finale with Picard's son and Seven of Nine.
You need to understand
if you're going to make me watch it, I would have watched that one.
You need to understand something, and I'm sorry, everybody. that this is going to be a rant that I'm going to go on to end the podcast here, and I'll just cut myself off at some point on the edit so you don't have to all hear it all. But you need to understand that Paramount has been purchased by a bunch of people who don't know what Star Trek is.
Well, you about said Star Wars.
Now wait. I'm not saying they've never watched Star Trek and that they don't know what Star Trek is. I mean, they watch Star Trek and they say stupid things like certain captains would be members of one political party and certain captains would be members of another political party, which means they never, if they didn't get it, they don't get it, they don't understand Star Wars if they're saying that stuff. Or Star Trek. Yes, I know, I'm ranting, and that's why I'm saying goodbye. Everybody.
Wait a minute, though. There's no political parties in the Federation?
That's right, because
I understand Star Trek.
Because we're in a utopian future society. There's no money. There's no capitalism. We've moved on. We're just trying to better ourselves.
I'm going to go scream.
They missed the whole point.
I'm going to go scream into the void now since I knew that fun fact. So I'll see you later. Daniel, you can keep ranting.